Okay, today we'll be graphing quadratic equations. So, quadratic equation is something that's going to have an x squared term in it. So our standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So my a value is always going to be what's in front of x squared, b value is what's in front of my x, and c value is my constant term. So in this example, -2 is my a value, -1 is my b value, and then 3 is my c value. Every quadratic has a U-shaped graph called a parabola. If a is positive, my parabola opens up. It looks like a U, just like the example down here. A is negative, my parabola opens down like an upside down U or like a carrot. The vertex is the lowest point on a parabola that opens up, just like here. I have, my vertex is going to be my lowest point, and then it's going to be the highest point on a parabola that opens that's supposed to say down. So like if I have a parabola like this, my vertex, that's going to be the highest point that that parabola ever reaches. And then the axis of symmetry is a line passing through, it always goes through the vertex, and it divides my parabola into two symmetric halves. Oops. This is some stuff. Here we go. So, to find my vertex, I'm going to do negative b divided by 2a. So take my b value, do the opposite of it, and then divide it by whatever 2 times a is. The axis of symmetry is the same thing, I just have to write it as x is equal to whatever that number is. So for this first example, first thing I'm going to do is find the x coordinate. So I'm going to identify my a, b, and c value. My a value is -1, b value is -2, c value is -3. So then I plug that into negative b over 2a. So I get negative b, so -2 over 2 times -1. So I get positive 2 over -2, which is the same thing as -1. Then what I do is I make an input-output table. My vertex always has to be my middle number, then 2 numbers that are less than it are -2 and -3, and the 2 that are greater are 0 and 1. And what I do is I plug each of these in my calculator. And this is the way you have to do it. It has to be whatever my x is, I'm going to put parentheses around, and then plug it into my equation for both x's. So you get negative, parentheses, -3 squared, minus 2 times parentheses -3 minus 3. So she get -6, -3, -2, -3, and -6. My input-output table is only symmetric when the distance between my x's, so difference between these guys is 1, difference in these is 1, difference in these is 1, difference in these is 1. If the difference between my x values are all the same, then I'll have a symmetrical graph. If it's not, though, then it won't work out. So I'm going to erase that real quick. And then I'm going to plot these points. So I get -3, -6, which gives me there, -2, -3, -1, -2, 0, -3, and then +1, -6. So my parabola looks something like this. And so this has a maximum, which happens at my vertex since my parabola is opening down, just like we said on the previous slide. And then if I wanted to write the axis of symmetry, it would be the line x is equal to -1. Same thing here. Here's the homework.